Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Steve and I'm a guitar player from New Jersey. If I'm telling my own life story, this particular guitar is as much of my life story and is part of my journey more than possibly any single person. It's kind of strange that I'm doing a tribute to a guitar, but for us guitar players, I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube where you see a lot of famous guys talking about their first guitar. Well, for me, this particular guitar has been with me since the year 1988. I received this guitar on Christmas Day, 1988, from my father and my mom, and this guitar was purchased in Paramus, New Jersey, at the Sam Ash, which is unfortunately no longer there, but they bought it there for me. I'd wanted this guitar. I actually wanted an Ibanez Gem. Then they realized what the price for an Ibanez Gem was, and I got this amazing desert yellow Ibanez RG550. I was very lucky in that I kind of knew that I was getting this guitar because my dad had brought home some of the brochures and I saw them. So I kind of got, that I was like, all right, he's at least looking into it. So come Christmas morning, I see the black Ibanez case with the white writing on the left-hand corner, and I was just like, oh, this is awesome. So I unwrapped this guitar and it was there. When I first got this guitar, it was pristine. It had, literally just come from the store 2 or 3 weeks before, from what my dad had told me. Completely stock, and I played it pretty much stock until 2015. I never changed anything with the exception of putting a trem setter in the guitar when I went to GIT in 1992. For the first couple of years, I was learning guitar, I was taking lessons, going to a lot of guitar clinics and playing gigs. I played a lot of gigs around New Jersey with this guitar. Actually, if you'll see in this corner right here, there are some pictures of myself and playing that guitar in various, funny hairstyles and in funny outfits, but it was part of my story. I mean, we were playing gigs in the 90s and the 80s, but basically it was all about, being kind of almost flamboyant in a way. And that's what this guitar was. It was completely flamboyant. But the great thing about this particular guitar was it just played so well. It made you want to practice. So I was literally, I remember my senior year of high school, which I actually, not proud of, but I ended up quitting and getting my GED. I would literally just tell my parents I was going to school, and I'd go to the park down the street with a metronome, and I would just practice guitar in the park all day until they got a letter from the school asking me where I was. At that point, then I would go to my girlfriend's house, and I would, instead of hang out with her, I would practice guitar all night until it was time to go home. I was obsessed. I was practicing a million hours a week. It was just all about this particular guitar. And I had other ones, but this one was the one that I was really most bonded with. So come 1990, I got a scholarship to go to the National Guitar Workshop in Connecticut, brought this guitar with me. 1991 came, moved out to Hollywood, California to go to GIT. This guitar came with me. 1992, I studied music education here in New Jersey at a college, community college, 2-year degree, and I was always using this guitar constantly. Then at that point, I get a little older, I'm in my 20s now, and this guitar is still with me. And mind you, in the 90s, this guitar was not cool. It was not cool to show up with this guitar. You know, with the advent of Kurt Cobain and Pearl Jam and those types of bands, you know, these kind of guitars, pointy-headed guitars, would get you either not hired, fired, laughed at, goofed on, whatever it was. And I didn't care. I just simply didn't care. It really kind of almost in a way gave me a thicker skin, because at that point I was just like, I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to do what I want to do. And this guitar is with me for the long haul. So all throughout the 90s, still gigging, still working, teaching, doing sessions here and there, you know, trying to just make a living playing music. And did that. I played with a couple of bands, and then I purchased another guitar that I really fell in love with was a Telecaster. That particular Telecaster, I wish I still had, but I was using that as well for the crux of my gear. And I did start to kind of sway into the Telecaster in the late 90s. And at that point, using this guitar, the Floyd on this particular, the original Floyd, it was completely rusted through. Couldn't use it anymore. So I brought it home to my house, to my mom's house, and it sat. And it was kind of sad. It was just like almost in a way, you know, part of me, and literally just sat and sat and sat. Fast forward to about 2015, we're moving my mom out of her house to a smaller location. And I find my prized Ibanez in the basement in parts. And I don't know who unparted it. I'm not quite sure. Still don't know to this day. It was somebody in my family, or I would assume, but the neck was off. And it, I mean, for all I know, it could have been me, but I don't remember that. And I don't take drugs or drink, so I'm 99% sure it wasn't me. But I find the guitar in parts, and I grab it and I take it to my friend. And I'm like, dude, we have to rebuild this guitar. I don't care how much it costs. This is 2015 we do this. And the neck was complete trash. It was just, the frets were worn out. Everything was shot. I was just like, I want to try to keep this guitar as original as possible, as many of the components as we could. And for his work, the only thing that we replaced on this guitar basically were the super switch and the pickups, and I think one of the pots. Everything else remained stock. I still have all the original nuts on here. I have the original straps, the strap locks. I have pretty much the tuners are all original. The Floyd did have to get replaced. So yes, mind you, that was something that we had to do. We couldn't save the Floyd. But we tried to save as much as we could. And I was a little apprehensive about, changing out the frets, because it was, so much of what I had played, I felt like it was embedded in those frets, but they just were unusable. So we put new frets in, jumbo frets, and we got it back in 2015. And it was like a brand new guitar, and it was just rediscovery. And I still, to this day, 2024, anytime I play any type of, 80s rock, like, I've been on a huge Rat and Dokken kick lately. Anytime I'm playing that, this guitar just is so perfect for that. The pickups are perfect for that. I actually put all DiMarzio pickups in just to kind of match what Vi had done in the Gem. And so I'm basically, using all the DiMarzio stuff as close as I could to get it to the Gem. I switched everything from the black hardware to red hardware, and I wanted it to just kind of be more unique, and really just kind of be as different as, even though like when you show up with a bright yellow guitar anywhere, it's gonna catch attention. But this guitar has been with me such a long time, and I still play it, still love it. I have many guitars, mostly Strats these days. But this guitar is definitely still played. I still make a lot of YouTube videos with it, and it gets a lot of play. Probably just this week alone, I've been probably putting in about 2 to 3 hours a day you know, with this guitar, learning some solos. So just wanted to share my first guitar and my first experiences with it with you. And if you feel like sharing anything of yours or have any comments, please do feel free to leave those comments below. Thanks for watching.